this Sunday night, it is the biggest football game in all of Western civilization. This Sunday will be the true 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl. It's the 51st installment, but date-wise, it's the 50th anniversary. The AFC champion New England Patriots looking to get one for the thumb for their fifth championship overall. The NFC champion Atlanta Falcons looking for their first ever. It is the one game bigger than all of the others. The champions of the AFC and the champions of the NFC face off this Sunday night in Space City. But while two teams will enter, only one will be hoisting the Lombardi as they stand alone as NFL champions. Who will win Super Bowl 51? You're about to find out. As this is the Strictly Sports Super Bowl preview special. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Strictly Sports Super Bowl special. I am Anthony Florio, being joined as always by Girl MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, we have arrived. We're here. Just like the Wyatts always like to say, we're here. Super Bowl Sunday, little less than 48 hours away. NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas. On Fox, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, Chris Myers, and pretty much anybody who works for Fox will be there for the big game, and we've all waited for it. We're going to cover it all for you here tonight. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, and who we think, and in our main event, who we think will hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy as champions in the National Football League. Man, oh man, I mean, the butterflies are in our stomachs. We're excited. We can't wait for it. Opening the spread has the New England Patriots by 3. They're 3-point favorites. And what else is there to say except let's get down to business. I have the schematic. I'm going to get into my schematic here, and then we'll break down all the bullet points. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are at home in Houston, where they won Super Bowl 38 and accustomed to the NFL's biggest stage. The Atlanta Falcons are in their second Super Bowl and strive to secure the Lombardi Trophy for the first time in franchise history on Sunday night in Super Bowl 51. The Falcons, in head coach Dan Quinn's second year, rode the NFL's highest scoring offense, 33.8 points a game, to the top of the NFC. The trophy on the line Sunday is the hardware that matters, but Atlanta's achievements already include offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan being named Assistant Coach of the Year, and Matt Ryan as Offensive Player of the Year. The MVP award will be handed out tomorrow night as part of NFL honors, and it is expected that Matt Ryan will win that award. Belichick and the Patriots are hailed for finding ways to eliminate the top playmakers of the opposition, but choosing where to start with Atlanta is no easy decision. Wide receiver Julio Jones averaged 17 yards per reception and will command extra attention. Patriots cornerback Logan Ryan said that, but the Falcons also thrived in the running game. As the only team to start all 5 offensive linemen in every game this season, there's cohesion around big-ticket free agent addition Alex Mack. Mack was the top-rated run blocker in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. And Atlanta's running back tandem of Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman averaged more than 170 yards from scrimmage in 2016. Jones said he will likely play everywhere in the formation to dictate matchups. But the Patriots just shut down Pro Bowl wide receiver Antonio Brown in the AFC Championship game, despite the Pittsburgh Steelers establishing that hide-and-seek approach to formation changes. The Patriots are plotting how to handle Ryan, which starts with making him uncomfortable in the pocket. Quinn said turnovers, a major issue in the Falcons' nosedive from a 5-0 start in 2015, might decide the game. But he also believes the defense that grabs the advantage early will also have a big edge. Atlanta's front five isn't bulletproof. Ryan, a pocket passer, was heavily pressured in losses to the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. Film the Patriots have no doubt reviewed in their 2 weeks of preparation. New England defensive coordinator Matt Patricia said the risk in sending an extra body to make Ryan move from his launch point is that approach leaves Coleman and Freeman open in space where they've been destructive. Quinn was defensive coordinator of the Seahawks 2 years ago in Glendale, Arizona, when the Patriots beat Seattle with a dramatic interception at the goal line from cornerback Malcolm Butler. But the memorable plays from that game to Quinn were Brady piling up completions with ease in the second half, including what proved to be the game-winning score to wide receiver Julian Edelman in the final minute. Quinn's defense was 27th in the NFL in points allowed and starts 4 rookies, which could be viewed as blood in the water for Brady, who was 1 win from setting the modern-day record with 5 Super Bowl wins. Brady said he will not be motivated by any grudge against Commissioner Roger Goodell, who suspended Brady for the first 4 games of this 2016 season for his role in Deflategate. In 12 games this season, Brady was sacked just 15 times and had a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 28-2. Against Atlanta, a defense built on speed, the Patriots could install an extra offensive lineman or tight end and power play football to force the Falcons to adjust. Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount averaged 3.9 yards a carry and had 18 touchdowns on 299 carries. Tom Brady is a future Hall of Fame quarterback. It's hard to stop a guy like that knows defenses, said Falcons defensive tackle Jonathan Babineau. He's seen it all. The thing that we have to do is rattle him and make sure he's not comfortable in the pocket. We know in this league that the ball comes out 2.4, 2.5 seconds, 90% of the time. So any way we can affect him by getting our hands up or getting a hit and getting him rattled, anything we can do to disrupt him is going to be great for us. So with all that being said, these two teams have met only 13 times. New England has the slight edge 7-6. Overall, the Patriots have won each of the last 4 meetings against the Atlanta Falcons, 3 of them in Atlanta, only 1 of those in New England. They last met in 2013 in Atlanta, a win by the New England Patriots 30-23 in the Georgia Dome. So a lot of history there. New England a 3-point favorite. It's on Fox with Buck, Aikman, Andrews, and Myers and the whole crew. And as far as the offense goes, oh, man, I honestly don't know. I mean, I really don't know who to give the edge to here because both of them are dynamic in every way. Quarterback-wise, if we had to base it on the body of work for this season, I would have to give the slight edge to Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan is going to be the MVP. But if we're talking overall body of work, like overall career, hands down, it's Brady. No doubt about that. Running game, I mean, that's another toss-up. I mean, you got LeGarrette Blount for New England. Blunt force trauma, if you will. Power running back. And then on the other side, you got a 2-headed monster with Freeman and Coleman, who are both amazing. And I can say the same for the receiving core. However, considering the fact that New England will be without their superstar tight end, Rob Gronkowski, you might have to give the edge to Atlanta because, you got Julio Jones, who's doing all kinds of things. And then on New England side, you got Julian Edelman, you got Danny Amendola, Martellus Bennett, who's done a wonderful job taking Gronk's spot in the tight end role after Gronk went down with that back injury that ended his season. So that's tough to go there. And as far as the kicking game goes, I got to give the edge to Gostkowski. I mean, no disrespect to Brian. I mean, he's amazing, but Stephen Gostkowski has done a wonderful job for New England ever since he became the kicker after Adam Vinatieri was traded to Indianapolis. And clearly he's got some Vinatieri. He's the next Vinatieri. That's all there is to say on that. Honestly, offensive-wise, I have to give it I can't pick one over the other. I'm sure these guys can, but I can't because both offenses are amazing. And these are the two highest scoring offenses in the NFL ever since Tom Brady came back from his suspension in week 5. No two teams have put up more points than the Patriots and the Falcons have. Atlanta 1 and New England 2. And you look at the postseason games so far, New England in their wins over the Houston Texans in the divisional round and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC Championship, they totaled 70 points total. That's an average of 35 a game. That's very good. However, on the other side of the coin, Atlanta has averaged 40 a game. 36-20 winners over Seattle in the divisional round, and then that 44-21 beatdown of Green Bay in the NFC Championship. Great way to close out the Georgia Dome, by the way. 44-36 adds up to 80. That's an average of 40. So if you like offense, and you know how much I love offense, this is my domain right here. I have a strong feeling in my heart of hearts we're going to have a high-scoring game here. So many of all but 2 games in this NFL postseason so far have been absolute meh dud games. We've only had two games that were even remotely competitive. Pittsburgh and Kansas City, that divisional game that was moved from the Sunday afternoon to the Sunday night, which I thought was a brilliant move. But of course, the best game so far, Green Bay and Dallas in the divisional round. That was a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. I'm hoping we get a game like that on Sunday night. I'm an impartial guy. MF is an impartial guy. Bullock, we know, is going to be biased because he is, the biggest Patriot fan that we know. Don't believe me? Go on his Facebook page and look up those pictures of him and his parents at the pro shop on this past Sunday, and tell me otherwise. So we know how Bullock's going to be, but MF and I, we're going to be the impartial guys here because we're not Patriot fans and we're not Atlanta fans either. But we do respect their accomplishments, though. Say what you want about the Patriots and whatnot, but you got to respect Atlanta too. And this is only their 2nd Super Bowl appearance. New England, their 9th. And is it one for the thumb, or is it going to be the first Super Bowl title ever for the Atlanta Falcons and only the 2nd championship for the city of Atlanta? The city of Atlanta has only celebrated 1 major championship before. MF knows that all too well. His Atlanta Braves, when they won the World Series in 1995. The only World Series that super team ever won. Color me surprised. Color us surprised. I thought that team was going to win at least 3, maybe 4, but I never thought in my wildest dreams that super team would only win 1. But it is what it is. So I can't pick a winner when it comes to offense because they're both amazing. So that's really all I can say on that. So I'm now going to bring in this case, the Troy Aikman to my Joe Buck here, Michael Fletcher, MF. Let's bring you on in. We'll get to your forte in a minute, but we're talking about my forte first, the offense. New England, Atlanta. Who's got the edge offensive wise, Mr. Aikman, if you will?
Anthony, you're absolutely right. This is actually a tough call because it can go either way. I think quarterback-wise, you got to give the slight edge to Tom Brady because of the fact that his style of play is made for these type of big games. But let me tell you, Matt Ryan has been unbelievable this year. There's no doubt about it. When it comes to the running back situation, I got to give that to Atlanta. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people would say Garrett Blount and Dion Lewis, and that'll be a major advantage that they have. But Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman, 2 guys that is very dangerous, not only in the running game, but can also pass catch as well. Basically good for the running game. Lewis is more the passer, where for Freeman and for Coleman, they actually can tear you apart both ways. So that's actually a big advantage for Atlanta going into that game. They got the better running backs by far, no doubt about it. Receiving core, this is a complete and utter wash. When you got guys like Edelman, um, you talked about Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan. Don't forget about him. He's been a major bright spot lately. Then also for Atlanta, you got Peter Gabriel, you got Mohamed Sanu, who used to be with the Cincinnati Bengals, who had an amazing season as well. And then, without a doubt, probably the ultimate playmaker of the Atlanta Falcons, and the one that I think is going to go monster in this game is Julio Jones. I mean, this is the guy. He is become, without a doubt, the top premier wide receiver in the game today. I'm gonna offend people right now. I don't give a damn. He's better than Dez Bryant, better than Odell Beckham Jr., better than Antonio Brown, because of the fact that he's humble. He's not a Naga diva. He's humble enough. He plays the right way. He doesn't make any media thing like, "Hey, look at me." No, he's a pale worker guy. He brings his pale lunchbox to the job. He eats his sandwich. He does the union thing, and when he's ready to go, he gives you 110%. So no doubt in my mind, that's the best way to go. As far as the tight ends go, no doubt about it, I'm gonna give it uh, to Bennett. I got to give it to the Patriots. I think he's an unbelievable player, no doubt about it. Kicking game, Anthony, I gotta disagree with you. I saw Steven Gostkowski personally, and he's been missing field goals. He's been missing extra points this year. He has not been the same Steven Gostkowski than he's been in recent years. I'm sorry, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. For me, I'm giving this to Matt Bryant. I think Bryant is the more far superior kicker than Gostkowski is right now. And I know I'm gonna get a little bit of some hay for that, but like you said, we need to be realistic, we need to be legit, and we need to play this by the rules. And for me, I'm sorry, but I disagree with you. I got to give that type of advantage there. If you stack all the numbers together and give everything what it's worth and just give it for the way it is, and I'm just running off the stats, and here it is. In total offense this year, and this was during the regular season, and maybe even added postseason too. Atlanta had the more superior offense. Offensively, they were better in the passing game, not by much, only by maybe about 25. They were only better by 25 yards. Rushing game, they were only better by 3 yards, but they outscored their opponents. And this is actually legit scoring. Atlanta averages 34 points throughout the entire season. That's including playoffs. 34 points. New England only managed 28 points offensively. The only saving grace that New England has is that they have a better third down conversion, 46% to 42%. But other than that, even total offense, Atlanta has 416 yards. New England only 386. Those numbers alone gives me the advantage. I'm going with Atlanta to have the better offense in Super Bowl 51. Michael Bullock, what says you?
Yes, man. All I can say is, well, first, I mean, less than 48 hours. It can't get here fast enough. I'm so excited about this Super Bowl, and I got a feeling that this is going to be something special. I can just feel it right now. So, yeah. So, yeah. When it comes to the offense, you take a look at Matt Ryan. The numbers. They pretty much say it all. He's having a phenomenal year, to say the very least. And one of the reasons why the Atlanta Falcons are in the Super Bowl. So yeah, and I mean Tom Brady. I mean, yeah, he had another really good year, but let's not count the fact that let's count the fact that he was suspended the first 4 games of the season because of that whole Deflategate nonsense. So I think you have to take something into that. But even with that, he still passed for over 3,500 yards and 28 touchdowns with 2 picks. And of course, when it comes to Matt Ryan, I mean, his numbers are one of the best I've ever seen. Yeah, let me just find it first. Oh, here it is. I mean, look at that. Almost 5,000 yards passing. I mean, and 38 touchdowns to 7 picks. And I mean, and I'll even say it as well. I think he's gonna win the MVP. I'm just being straight honest here. And when it comes to who I give the edge to at quarterback, well, it's a toss-up, but I mean, if we were basing it on the overall for a career, I definitely could give the edge to Brady. But I think since we're talking about what they've done this year, I actually am going to give the edge to Matt Ryan here. Yeah, I mean, especially with Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator, he certainly has had a phenomenal year. And when it comes to the running game, of course, that 2-headed monster for the Falcons with Devontae Freeman, who rushed for over 1,000 yards, and Tevin Coleman, and excuse me. I mean, they've also been able to catch passes as well. And then, of course, LeGarrette Blount ran for over 1,100 yards with 18 total touchdowns. And let's not forget about Dion Lewis and James White. They can not only run, but I think they can also catch passes from the backfield too. So, and I'm going to say it right now, those two are going to be my X factors for the Super Bowl for the Patriots. So, and it's tough to say. I mean, I'm gonna say it's even when it comes to the running backs on both teams. I mean, it's tough to pick one over the other. And then when it comes to the receiving corps, of course, with Julian Edelman over 1,000 yards receiving, and Martellus Bennett, I think he's done a really good job filling in for Gronk. And remember, James White, of course, he's second on the team in receptions this year. And Chris Hogan's been a nice addition too. But when you got the Falcons, I mean, of course, there's really nothing to be said, of course, about Julio Jones. I mean, and I'm gonna say it, and I know I'm probably gonna get some heat for this, but I don't care. It's my opinion. I think Julio Jones is the best receiver in the National Football League. I mean, he's not like some of those other receivers who are good, but they act like noggin divas. Julio Jones is not one of them. And then you got Mohamed Sanu, who's been a real nice addition for them. And Taylor Gabriel, I mean, he certainly has come on. So, yeah, so because of that, I'm actually going to give a slight edge to the Falcons as well. And now when it comes to the offensive line, I mean, the offensive line has been good, but Alex Mack, of course, their Pro Bowl center, he's battling a left fibula injury. So we don't know how 100% he's going to be going into this game. And, I mean, we know he's going to play, no doubt about it. But, I mean, how much will that left fibula give him some fits? And then, of course, this offensive line for the Patriots, they've been playing much better this season, especially ever since they brought back Dante Scarnecchia as their offensive line coach. So I'm actually going to give a slight edge to the Patriots when it comes to the offensive line, and when it comes to the kicking game, especially the field goal kicking. I mean, yeah, you got Matt Bryant, who was 34 for 37 on field goal attempts this season, and Gostkowski was 27 of 32. So, and yes, and let's not forget, like you said, he's missed some extra points. So, man, this is tough to decide when it comes to that, but I'm still going to give the edge to the Patriots because I know Gostkowski, when it comes to a big time situation, he can make a clutch kick. So I mean, I still have faith in him, and I'm going to give the slight edge to Gostkowski in the kicking game. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I can say when it comes to the offense. Now let's get on to something that I think Fletcher's going to have a real good time talking about, and that's the defense.
Yes, indeed, Michael Bullock. We switched from offense to the defense, and it's only fitting that we have MF started off because MF is our defensive guru after all. This is right up his alley. So MF, before you dissect all the X's and O's here, an interesting stat about both teams. New England, of course, number one defense. I think it's scoring defense or something like that. And Vic Beasley of the Falcons led the league in sacks with 15 and a half. Something's got to give. So defense, it's all yours, my friend. Do that defensive thing I like. Nobody does it better than you.
All right.
Yeah, same here, Fletch.
All right, guys. This is actually a little more interesting than anything else because I know a lot of people are like, they were wondering about the defense and the whole 9 yards. And yeah, when it comes to the defense, I'm sorry, guys. Offensively, this might be a wash. Defensively, there is no arguments to be made. New England is far superior from the front four, even though yes, you are absolutely right. You have the best, you got the best team when it comes with because you also got Dwight Freeney, and you also got Vic Beasley, like Anthony said, who was the leading sack man for Atlanta. But you got some monsters for New England. Their linebacking core is basically advantage New England. Their secondary, this is where New England just shreds, absolutely shreds, because you got guys like and this has always been the advantage that they've always had year in and year out, and that is the more superior defense. Especially when you got Devin McCourty, you got well, I don't think McCourty is with New England anymore, but you had them, you got Butler,
yes, he is.
you got so I stand corrected. When you got McCourty, you got Butler. Those are 1-2 punch, and they've been getting at the football lately in very tight situations. Let me just. New England's defense, they surrender 326 yards per game. That's 8th best in the NFL. Passing wise, they do give it up a lot. They do give up a lot. 238 yards per game. Here's where they shut you down. Running game, they've only given up 89 yards. That's 3rd best in the NFL. And they were able to shut teams down to a 15.6, which is the best in all of the NFL. 3rd down conversions, they only surrendered 37% of the time, which was 7th best. Atlanta has problems, especially in the secondary, in the passing game, more than anything else. A lot of the times they give up 267 yards passing, and they give over 105 yards rushing That is not going to get the job done in the Super Bowl. If you have those type of lapses, if you get shredded like that in this kind of game, this will give New England will shred you in that type. So you have to lock down more than ever before. And this is why I believe defensively is far superior. This is an open and shut case for me, ladies and gentlemen. There is no argument. I don't even need to get into why I think it goes like this. To me, this is an open and shut case. You don't even make. I don't even need to go lawyer on you about why I think it. This is not even close. New England's defense is far superior than Atlanta's, and you can check it off, like check mark on every single box. New England wins on the front four. They win in the linebacker situation. They destroy in the secondary. I know Michael Blick is probably grinning like a Cheshire cat right now, but I got to be real honest with you. If there was debate about the offense, there is no debate when it comes to the defense. For me, the Patriots have that advantage and then some. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you definitely got to give the edge to the Patriots defensively. I mean, what can you say? I mean, Alan Branch. I mean, he's having a pretty good year at the front line, and one guy on the other side, I mean, has really emerged, and that's Trey Flowers, who I think led the team with 7 sacks. So he's really come on for them, and don't forget about Malcolm Brown. I think Malcolm Brown's had another really good season too, and then the linebacking course led by, of course, Dante Hightower, who is a very good tackler, and like you said, in that secondary, of course, with Malcolm Butler and Devin McCourty and Eric Rowe, I think has played really good. So, and the thing is, with the Alex Mack fibula injury, I think the front line's really going to test him, and if he can't handle it, I think that defense is going to put a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan. So, and then the question is, when it comes to the secondary, I mean, who's going to be covering Julio Jones? I think it may not just be Malcolm Butler. You might see him get some safety help from guys like Devin McCourty. So, Atlanta's defense, it's been. The only bright side, was said Vic Beasley, who led the league in sacks with 15.5, and of course you got the veteran Dwight Freeney. But either way, the defense for the Patriots is really good, and that's why I give the edge to them. So there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, I give it to you.
Making unanimous, I got New England's defense as well. I mean, yes, you had Vic Beasley lead the league with 15.5 sacks, but look what New England's defense did in the AFC Championship game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they knocked Le'Veon Bell out of the game. They limited Antonio Brown. They kept Roethlisberger in check. And what should determine this Super Bowl is defense, just as it determined last year's Super Bowl and so many before. If you look at their history under Bill Belichick, New England's defense travels well. Out of their stingiest defenses, using points allowed as the main metric, 3 have resulted in a Super Bowl victory. Sunday could make 4, as this year's defense is their 3rd stingiest. They allowed 15.6 points a game this season and held both of their playoff opponents under 20. New England is the chalk almost every time they reach this game, but the Falcons have suddenly become the trendy pick. You know, their bandwagon filling with some big-time ballers, you know, among them Dan Marino, A.J. Green, Donovan McNabb, DeMarcus Ware, Marcus Allen. So just wanted to let that out of there. But But like I said, defense, it's all about New England. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything else. So, yeah, New England's defense definitely has the edge to say. And Atlanta's defense will certainly have its hands full, no doubt about it, even though Beasley had the 15.5 sacks. So, yeah, and last time New England was in the Super Bowl, it wasn't the offense that won them the Super Bowl. Oh, no. It was the defense that won them the Super Bowl. Malcolm Butler, anyone? Malcolm Butler? The Butler did it? Hello? If that doesn't determine it, I don't know what does. And before we go to Bullock and the special teams, let me just say it like this. Simple question here. What happens when the number one offense meets the number one defense in the Super Bowl? Anyone?
The defense always wins. Just ask the Denver Broncos when they faced the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 48. People were thinking the offense was going to overcome the defense. Wrong. It was that Legion of Boom that dominated Peyton Manning and that high-powered Broncos offense.
Indeed, that, and yes, absolutely, Bull. You're absolutely right on that. Of the 5, it's happened 5 times. The game has tilted more frequently in favor of defenses in the 5 instances when a top points-producing machine has met its opposite in the Super Bowl, with 4 games being won by the top defense. Most recently, the Seahawks, like Bullock said, demolishing the Broncos 43-8 in Super Bowl 48, completely stifling an offense that had set a scoring record in the regular season. Of the 5 matchups, one merits particular notice in the context of this year's Patriots. And I hate to bring this up as a painful memory, but I have to do it anyway because it helps me get my point across. In Super Bowl 25, Bill Belichick, then the defensive coordinator of the Giants, served as the mastermind behind a 20-19 Giants victory over the Buffalo Bills that represented one of the greatest games and biggest upsets in NFL championship history. Buffalo was a 6.5-point favorite. Interestingly, of the 5 games of top defenses against top offenses, that Bills-Giants game was the only instance when the point total fell short of the pregame over-under. In the other 4 contests, the winning team put up at least 35 to help the combined score surpass the Vegas expectation. The Giants' win was one of 2 in which Belichick worked with the defense that led the NFL in points allowed. The other was in Super Bowl 38, when the Patriots won a 32-29 shootout over the Panthers for New England's second championship. That game marked one of 16 occasions in which the NFL's top-scoring defense reached the Super Bowl. The last came 2 years ago when the Patriots overcame a lethargic first 2.5 quarters to beat a Seahawks team that had been the defensive class of the NFL. Yet that Patriots win ran against a typical outcome when a top defense entered the Super Bowl. In the 16 post-merger Super Bowls that featured the regular season leader in points allowed, those number one defenses own a 12-4 record. Starting with Belichick's Giants against the Bills, of the last 9 teams to reach the Super Bowl after leading the NFL in fewest points allowed, 7 have won. There has also been a clear pattern of games featuring those top defenses featuring surprisingly high point totals, mostly because the teams with the top defense put up significant points. On average, Super Bowls featuring the top team by points allowed has beaten the over-under by more than 8 points. And the other 5 instances, we started off in 1978, Super Bowl 12. It was the Dallas Cowboys who had the number one offense. I beg your pardon. It was Super Bowl number 13. I beg your pardon. Dallas Cowboys number one offense. Pittsburgh Steelers number one defense. Steelers won 35-31. 1984 season, going into Super Bowl 19. Fletcher's Miami Dolphins was the top offense. The San Francisco 49ers were the top defense. And the Niners won 38-16. 1989, going into Super Bowl 24. And this is the only instance where the number one offense actually won against the number one defense. San Francisco 49ers, number one offense. Denver Broncos, number one defense. Niners obliterated the Broncos 55-10 in the most lopsided Super Bowl in history. And then 1990, Super Bowl 25, Buffalo was the number one offense. Giants were the number one defense. Giants won 2019. And then, of course, Super Bowl 48, 2013, Denver number one offense, Seattle number one defense. Seattle won 43-8. And this year, Atlanta has the number one offense. New England has the number one defense. In 78, the Cowboys led the league in offense at 24 points a game. Steelers were allowed an average of 12.2. In 84, the Dolphins, they were averaging 32.1 points a game on offense. San Francisco allowed 14.2 on defense. 89, San Francisco was averaging 26.8. Denver was allowing 14.1. In 90, Buffalo was averaging 26.8. Giants were allowing 14.2. And in the last instance, Denver was averaging 37.9. Seattle was allowing 14.4. This year, Atlanta averaged 33.8. New England allowed 15.6. And the over-under is currently set at 58. So we'll see what happens. So defense does indeed win championships, my friends. So that's it. I agree. Defense all the way. New England. So now we move on to the special teams. Who's got the edge on the special teams? Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on that first.
Well, when it comes to special teams, we've seen the Patriots, of course, when it comes to with their punter Ryan Allen. He's made some pretty good punts that basically puts teams in deep in their own territory, and make them have to go down the field in order to score. So, sorry about that. It's just, those are just my dogs. So, yeah. So, the New England special teams has always played a key role in for them. You take a look at the game that they had against the Houston Texans earlier this year. They shut out the Texans 29-0. And what was the main part of that game? The special teams. So, yeah. So, to me, I think I'm gonna have to give an edge to the New England special teams. Atlanta. It's good, but I think New England's special teams, I think, is just a bit better. So, Florio, it's yours.
I got a little sidetracked there, Boliga. Who'd you go with there? New England, did you say?
Yeah. I went with New England.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure on that. I got sidetracked a little bit. I didn't think we were going to be done so quickly, but all right. Yeah. A little bit of a tough one here. When it comes to the special teams aspect here, I could see why Bullock would give the edge to New England there, but well, it's let's go to the numbers and let's find out who has the special teams edge in this matchup. No matter who you ask, Super Bowl 51 should be a close game. Well, fans of the Atlanta Falcons and New England Patriots might not think so, but odds makers project a close game with the New England Patriots by 3. And as far as the special teams goes, taking all of the various aspects of special teams into account can make it hard units. But we actually have that covered with the net expected points metric. A drive starting on the 50 doesn't have the same expected outcome as a drive starting on a team's own 10. Why then should a short punt be considered below average if it pins an opponent deep? NEP factors in all these variables on each play to show just how well a player or team is performing. Unfortunately, the attempt to determine which side has an advantage, the Patriots and Falcons were nearly identical in total special teams NEP during this regular season. The Patriots ranked 9th in special teams NEP with a score of 16.62. meaning they earned roughly 17 points in their favor because of special teams play. The Falcons ranked 10th with a mark of 16.02. The way they got there, however, was vastly different. When it comes to offensive, New England 38.72, which was 9th. Atlanta 57.51, which was 2nd. On the defensive side, New England 22.10, 13th. Atlanta 41.46 defensive, which is 24th. And that's how you got the averages. The Patriots hovered around the top 12 in both generating and limiting expected points on special teams. Atlanta was one of the most vulnerable teams in the league on special teams plays, but made up for it with an explosive offensive special teams. In the kicking game, kickers, of course, are a big part of the special teams game. And in name, there are two great ones squaring off in Super Bowl 51. Based on the 2016 performance, though, one team has a clear edge. In the regular season, Stephen Gostkowski earned a field goal NEP of 7.41, which ranked 19th among 30 kickers with at least 25 attempts. Per attempt, he also ranked 19th. But in the late game, fourth quarter and overtime, he posted the 12th best per attempt score among those kickers. Gostkowski did have his weakest showing since his rookie campaign, according to the metrics, but he has gone 5 for 5 on field goals in this postseason, all from within 49 yards, and is 7 for 8 on extra points as well. Matt Bryant conversely finished with a 22.52 field goal NEP in the regular season, ranking 2nd overall and 4th on a per attempt basis. His late game field goal NEP per attempt, though, was 11th, just narrowly besting Gostkowski's. So far in the postseason, he is 3 for 3 on field goals, all between 20 and 39 yards, and 9 out of 10 on extra points. Bryant's recent form might give him the edge, but both kickers are some of the most capable in the NFL. Now, as far as punters are concerned, punters don't get much love, unless they're Marquette King or Johnny Hekker. But that applied in a different way to Atlanta's punter this year, Matt Bosher. He attempted just 44 punts all season, and Atlanta attempted just 46 during the regular season. Matt Weil punted 2 away this year for the Falcons. Bosher averaged 46.8 yards per punt, ranking 7th among qualified punters, and his 41.6 net average ranked 6th. Remember the part where the Falcons had a weak defensive special teams? Well, part of that is they allowed 10 return yards per punt from Bosher, 5th most in the NFL. For New England, Ryan Allen attempted all 72 of their punts, racking up an average of 44.7 yards, 21st in the league, but a net average of 41.4, 7th. His 72 punts were returned for an average of 5 yards per pop, 2nd best in the NFL to only Hecker's 4.3. Allen's net average has dropped to 36.6 yards on 8 punts this postseason, and the Pats have allowed 14.7 return yards a punt, most in the playoffs. But the success over the 72 regular season punts is a big part of why the Patriots were a top 13 squad in limiting expected points from opposing special teams units. So who has the edge? The Falcons, barely. Return games. One overlooked aspect of return games is the kickoff. That's especially true when we already know that the Falcons have had a superior offensive special teams. But based on the analytics, New England's kickoff performance trumps Atlanta's. New England had 110 kickoffs. The NEP was minus 3.31. The NEP per kickoff, minus 0.030. That's New England. For Atlanta, 127 kickoffs. The NEP, the kickoff NEP, minus 19.21. And the NEP per kickoff, minus 0.151. Kicking the ball away isn't exactly a great way to increase your chances to score after all. You're giving the ball to the other team. But the Patriots mitigated the damage much better than the Falcons did. And that could very well play a big factor in the big game. On the flip side, on 23 kick return attempts as a team during the regular season, the Falcons averaged 21 yards, 21st in the NFL. The Patriots took 29 returns for just 18.7 yards on average, 27th. But by NEP, the Falcons have a pretty substantial edge over the Patriots in the return game. When excluding touchbacks, the Falcons averaged 0.50 NEP per kickoff return, compared to just 0.25 for the Patriots. It was New England's punt return struggles, 5 total muffs, and 2 lost fumbles. They actually lost 0.12 expected points on average on their punt returns. The Falcons earned 0.19 NEP on average. The cumulative NEP scores were close for a reason. Matt Bryant has fared well for one of the best offenses in history, but we all know that Steven Gostkowski is no stranger to big-time kicks. The punters are nearly equally successful this season, too. What it might all come down to then is which wins out. The Falcons' superior return game or the Patriots' ability to stifle it. I might have to give a slight edge to Atlanta here based on those numbers, but it's very tough to call. Very tough to call. So MF, after hearing all those schematics, who do you give the edge to in the special teams game?
There's also one other factor that you actually didn't bring up, and I know Michael Bullock doesn't want to hear it, but it has to be addressed. New England has an issue when it comes to fumbling on either punt returns or kickoffs, and they've muffed a couple of punts fairly recently. As a matter of fact, there was two shaky turnovers. One in the divisional game against that we didn't really address, and there was also a fumble occurrence in the AFC Championship game where I think New England coughed it up too. So there's been some issues with their kicking return game. But I know to play devil's advocate, Dion Lewis broke one in that divisional game, broke a touchdown from a kick return. So, I mean, it can definitely swing one way to the other. But with the statistics, the schematics, and everything included, I got to give the advantage to the Atlanta Falcons, Anthony. You're absolutely right. I just think, like I said, I saw Gostkowski in week 2 against the Dolphins, and he missed a very crucial field goal that would have iced the game and actually gave Miami one more chance to possibly tie, even win the game. So I've always been very firm about my belief about Atlanta having the better kicking team. You just glossed over it so well. So no doubt about it. Kicking game, special team kicking game, advantage, Atlanta. Anthony, let's move on.
And now we move on to our final part of this preview before we give you the big prediction here. The coaches. For the New England Patriots, we have Bill Belichick. And on the other side, for the Atlanta Falcons, Dan Quinn. I'm sorry to say it, it's no contest. It's Belichick. I mean, I'm not dismissing what Dan Quinn has done. Dan Quinn has done a phenomenal job with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, year one didn't go so great. They started 5-0. They went 3-8 after that, and they finished 8-8. This year, they were so-so, but then towards right around November, December, that's when they really got hot, and then that's when the hot streak started, and they finished 11-5, number 2 seed in the NFC, only behind Dallas. They got to close out the Georgia Dome in a big way with an NFC championship. They're second all time. But on the other side, I mean, Bill Belichick, I mean, oh my Lord. I mean, look what Belichick has done. I mean, whether you like the guy or not, it's hard to top Vince Lombardi when it comes to NFL coaches who have won Super Bowls. But if you have to rank every coach who has won a Super Bowl title, I mean, right now it's Lombardi. Lombardi right now is the greatest. But right behind him is Bill Belichick. He's closing in on overtaking Lombardi as the greatest coach in NFL history. In fact, if Belichick wins this Super Bowl and captures his 5th title, I'm ready to put him at number 1. I don't care what anybody says. That would put his record at 5-2 in Super Bowls and has been to 11 conference championship games in 16 years in New England. An overall record of 237-115 and a playoff record of 25-10. New England coach Bill Belichick, who's headed for the Hall of Fame eventually, has a chance to get Super Bowl title number 5 on Sunday night. And that's really, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, he's a defensive guru. I mean, he's done it all. He's done it all. And Dan Quinn definitely has a bright future in Atlanta. There is no question about it. But, I mean, I really, unless I can come up with a liner note different from it, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's Belichick. I mean, I don't even know if I even do I even need to go into any further detail. That's really all I can say. So he knows how to take out the big game receivers. I mean, look what he did against Antonio Brown in the last game. And they have to win with coverage. I mean, the attention that Julio Jones commands has routinely generated favorable matchups elsewhere for Matt Ryan to exploit. And so in certain spots, New England will have to simply win those against the Falcons' down-the-line skill players. Atlanta's ability to beat you a lot of ways, what Matt has done, the way he can throw the ball, they understand that. But Kyle Shanahan can run the ball. He's got 2 good backs, and Bill Belichick's going to make you do something different. So, I really don't know what else there is for me to say. I mean, it has to be Belichick. And if he wins the Super Bowl, there is no question in my mind he's the greatest of all time, like him or not. So for me, this is a no-brainer. It's Belichick all the way. No disrespect to Dan Quinn. He's done great things in Atlanta. But I'm sorry. It's all Belichick all the time. MF, I'm sure you concur with this.
Yeah, no, it's Bill Belichick. Love him or hate him, he's one of the best coaches all time, everything else. Such a great game manager, and whenever he gets 2 weeks to prepare, his strategy is absolutely he adjusts in game so well, better than any other person I could ever think of. No, this to me, this is easy. I give a major advantage to the New England Patriots. This is easy to call. So yeah, no doubt about it. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh yeah, definitely Bill Belichick gets the edge when it comes to coaching, and I mean, no disrespect to Dan Quinn and what he's done with this Falcons team in his first couple of years, but I mean, Belichick's been there, he's done that, and yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Belichick gets the edge, so Florio, I think it's time to make our predictions on who's going home with the Vince Lombardi trophy.
Just give me 1 second here, guys, because I wanna do this right. All right. I gotta do this right. All right, just give me a second here, and then we'll get going here. We gotta do this right. Okay, now it's right. That's the graphic right there. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. We started off with you, my friend. The Troy Aikman to my Joe Buck. The Phil Simms to my Jim Nance. And the whole 9 yards. You see the graphic. It's one simple question, my friend. Who ya got?
I've been asked this question, especially around the 2184, for the last couple of days. You know, what was I gonna say? What was I thinking? What was going through my mind going into this game and going into this moment? I said it best, and I told my buddies, you're gonna have to wait till tonight. You're gonna have to wait for this show and what I was gonna say about the Super Bowl. Now, the way I think this game's going to go is this. If you really think about it, you would think New England is clear-cut favorite. There's no doubt about it. They're the more superior team. They're way better. They're Super Bowl ready. They're more focused. They've been here before. They've played in the big game before many times. What I don't think that people will realize is really the stadium itself, and the crowd. I think this crowd's going to be a pro-Atlanta crowd Sunday night. I think it's going to be, you're going to have the Atlanta fans, you're going to have the Patriot fans, but the neutrals, the ones that are in the middle, those are the ones that I want to talk about, because I think in my heart of hearts, they're going to side with Atlanta. Now, you can call it maybe, the hatred for the Patriots because they got this evil empire attitude like the New York Yankees does, like Duke basketball is. They're just that team you love to hate, team that you want to despise. And you don't give or you know what about them. You just do not want them to win the Super Bowl because maybe the Spygate, the Deflategate, whatever you want. And I know a lot of times, personally, I'm with that crowd. I'm in that majority that does not want the Patriots to win this Super Bowl. I don't want them to win this game. But I have to be objective. I have to be professional. And I have to be that color analyst that Anthony knows me as more than anybody else. Because to us, this game, this Super Bowl, is without a doubt the most exciting for us. For me and for him, we've been doing the Super Bowl since Super Bowl 29. This is our 22nd Super Bowl that we're going to be working together, one way or another. If you really look at it as a scope, if any past Super Bowls have told you, sometimes they are high scoring, other times not so much. I'm sorry, I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. Well, let me rephrase that. If anybody's thinking this is going to be 30, 40, something like that, that's not going to be the game. I think when it's all said and done, and when the push comes to shove, I think New England is far superior. Now, offensively, I think Brady's going to spread the field out. I think they're going to really force that secondary to really try to cover guys. And I think Chris Hogan could have a big game. Bennett could have a big game. Amendola, and Julian Edelman. I think what you're going to see is New England try to establish the run early with Blunt, but you're going to see Brady try to go outside the box. Basically, try to do more downfield type plays. Try to get it to the middle because Atlanta is very prone to the middle. I think the way that New England can really dominate is through the air. I think what Atlanta will do, try to get pressure, even though they've been blitzing a lot more, and that's been very good. But Brady is so good at covering blitzes and recognizing a blitz that the scheme is going to have to be a little more different. What I would think they would have to do is if there's going to be a front four defense, you need the penetration up four. Maybe use a spy, a fifth guy to spy on Brady. Watch what he does throughout the field. That could be a linebacker. That could be a safety. But spying on Brady, or try to shoot the A gap. Try to shoot up the middle just to get Brady uncomfortable. A la what Houston did. And think about this. Houston, even though they lost the game, their defense really got to Brady that night. And I know a lot of Patriot fans were really upset about that game. Even Brady threw 2 interceptions. He was sacked a few times in that game. And that's what you have to do. That's what the New York Giants did, and that's how they won the Super Bowl. Seattle had the right game plan. For 3/4 of the game, they had the right strategy, the right game plan. Everything went right for Seattle, except that 4th quarter. If Atlanta wants to make a difference there, that's how you win that game. Offensively, if you're Atlanta, you want to first establish the run. That means Freeman and Coleman, you better get off. And then on top of that, then you got Sanu, Gabriel, and Julio. You know New England's going to try to double Julio Jones. They're going to try to take him out of the game. That means Sanu and Gabriel, you're going to be very, very, very influential in this game. But Matt Ryan's been known to spread the ball around. So it's not just going to be one area where he's going to go. Yes, Julio's going to get his chunk yards, but you're going to have to shut them down. When you get into that type of game, Belichick has been known to shut your best players down. And that's why I think when this is all said and done, New England wins Super Bowl 51. My final score, and this is on record, the New England Patriots, 27. The Atlanta Falcons, 21. The Patriots captures their 5th Lombardi trophy, their 2nd in 3 years. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I think the key for the Patriots, when they do get the football, is to get off to a fast start, and what they want to do is basically, if they could score first and basically put the pressure on Matt Ryan and how he could do handling. I mean, being from behind. So, and the other key is, of course, is the defense. I mean, they can get pressure on Matt Ryan and force him into some bad throws. So, yeah, I mean, those are the keys. And yeah, and for Atlanta, I mean, you need to basically, the running game's, like I said, it's going to be key for them, and the passing game as well. And can the defense step up? But we all know that's not going to happen. But who do I have winning? Well, let me show you who I am going. I'm going with them, the New England Patriots, to win this game, win their 5th Lombardi trophy overall, and 2nd in the last 3 years. My final score, 27-24. New England beats Atlanta. Florio, who you got?
Oh, man, how do you follow that? I mean, Michael Bullock showing off his Patriot gear. Oh, my. You can't beat that. But, oh, boy. All right. So let me find my schematic here. If you like offense and you like points like I do, this should be the Super Bowl matchup for you. After all, the league's highest and 3rd highest scoring offenses are in the mix. In a game that we played indoors and only featured the 2 quarterbacks that have been the league's best all season. While they are certainly a hateable franchise for a variety of reasons, the Patriots are also the easy team to pick here. After all, you have the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady combination. You have a franchise that hasn't lost a Super Bowl to a team not named the New York Giants in over 3 decades. and you have the added motivation of the Roger Goodell shenanigans, because who wouldn't love the sight of the commissioner handing the Super Bowl trophy, handing over the Lombardi trophy to these guys? But anybody that is counting out the Atlanta Falcons is making a big mistake, in my opinion. Yes, they don't get the amount of media attention that other teams get, but if you've watched them in the postseason, when they dispatched the Seahawks and the Packers with ease, you would know that this is a team not to take lightly, and one that certainly could win on Sunday. Falcons are healthier, and some think they are playing better at the moment. I can definitely see Matt Ryan connecting on some deep balls with Julio Jones, Vic Beasley perhaps keeping the pressure on Brady all night long on the other side of the field. But on the other side of the coin, when you think about the experience factor of the New England Patriots and the whole 9 yards, when you have the Brady-Belichick combination, Belichick's ability to take out big play targets, and when you think about it, in the Brady-Belichick era, whenever the New England Patriots face a team in the Super Bowl that is not the New York Giants, they've won. The Giants are the only team that have beaten the Patriots in the Brady-Belichick Super Bowl era. That's only 2 losses. The Falcons' only other trip to the Super Bowl did not go so well. They got beat down by Denver. John Elway retired in the whole 9 yards. What does it for me is the fact that Brady, Belichick, and the Patriot organization, they so badly want to stick it to Roger Goodell. And I'm not a Patriot fan by any means. I'll be honest with you. Neither is MF, as MF just alluded. There's the one thing I want to see more than anything else is to see the New England Patriots stick it to Roger Goodell, because I hate Roger Goodell's guts. But then again, all of us on this panel hate his guts. No doubt about it. Worst commissioner in all of sports, hands down. My gut tells me to go with New England, mainly because of that, because I want to see them stick it to Goodell. My heart is telling me to go with Atlanta because of how well they've played, especially in this postseason, against 2 very quality opponents in Seattle and Green Bay. Oh, gosh. Michael Fletcher the other day posted a video of EA Sports Madden's game before the game. And they have the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl 27-24. They had Tom Brady finding Julian Edelman with like 20 seconds left to go. If that does it, that's a screaming Anthony Florio moment waiting to happen. And MF knows all about that. So it's so tough to call. Do I go with my gut and go with New England just so they could stick it to Roger Goodell? Or do I go with my heart and go with the Atlanta Falcons to win their first ever Super Bowl and give the city of Atlanta only its second professional sports championship to go with the Braves' 1995 World Series win? God, so tough to call. Derek Ferreira had the cojones to go with the Falcons in his video, on his Facebook Live Sports Cave video. These guys are going with New England. Of course, Bullock's going with New England because he's a homer. That's not a surprise. MF realizes the experience. And the last time I checked, the Atlanta Falcons are not the New York Giants. If it was the New York Giants, I'd go against them. I would go against the Patriots, and I'd pick the Giants to win. But the fan base here in New England is, wow, over the moon. You got Bullock. You got Derek Ferreira. You got Bullock's family. You got Fletcher's. You got MF's 2184 crew. You got my church family, who I think outnumbers your 2184 crew, Fletch, with all due respect. But at the end of the day, I want to see Goodell get humbled and humiliated on the grandest stage the NFL has to offer. So with that being said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If we're wrong, we're wrong. whatever. We've had the egg on the face before. We'll take it if it goes the other way. But at the end of the day, you have to go with the defense and you have to go with the experience factor. So with that being said, I'm going to make it unanimous. I'm going with the New England Patriots to win Super Bowl 51. My final score, I got a high score, and I don't care what you guys say. I still think it's going to be a high-scoring game. New England wins 38-35, and I think Gostkowski will make a field goal to win it at the end. Book it. So give me New England 38-35. They get one for the thumb, and most importantly, they stick it to Roger Goodell, and it'll be one of the most prettiest sights to see in all of sports. So, all right. So that will put the bow on this very special Strictly Sports Super Bowl 51 preview special. And before we get to our shout-outs, I want to take a moment and acknowledge, I know these guys don't know this, but me being the memory guy and having the photographic memory and also being the sentimental guy that I am, gentlemen, tonight marks the 5th year anniversary of Strictly Sports. 5 years ago to this very day, February 3rd, 2012, was our very first Strictly Sports broadcast. Derek Ferreira was the host. He hosted for a good few years. And as of about 1 or 2 years ago, the reins were handed to me. I was given the keys to the car on a permanent basis, and I, for one, could not be any more grateful about that. We have had so many special moments in these 5 years. We've got to do a lot of great things on these shows. You know, NFL Friday, College Football Thursday, our NCAA tournament selection specials, the NFL schedule release specials, our Super Bowl previews, power rankings, certain stories that we got to talk about, some exciting things we got to talk about. But the one thing that really stood out to me over these last 5 years, June 7th, 2013, when we celebrated the Boston Bruins going to the Stanley Cup Finals. That is a moment I will never forget in the 5 years we've been doing this show. I cannot believe it's already been 5 years since we started doing this show. And, well, you thought these first 5 years were good? Oh, hold on, my friends, because the next 5 years and then some, we're just getting started. We're just scratching the surface. So, on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we want to thank you fans out there for tuning in to all of our shows over the last 5 years, whether it was on Ustream, Vuvu, Google Hangout, the brand new YouTube Live. It doesn't matter. You stood by us these last 5 years. And on behalf of all of us here, we simply want to say thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts. And these last 5 years have been an absolute blast. That's all there is to say on that. So, happy 5th anniversary, Strictly Sports. Here's to 5 more, and then some. Special shout-outs here. I'll open forum it. Whichever one of you two wants to go first, take it. Just save me for last. And feel free to include a favorite memory over the last 5 years of Strictly Sports, if you'd like. So, I see Bullett's mic is off first, so Michael Bullitt, it's all yours, bud.
All right, and of course, special shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's Strictly Sports or Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk. It doesn't matter. We thank you so very much for tuning in, and we thank you so much for tuning in for these last 5 years. Strictly Sports, it's been a really fun ride here these 5 years, and really looking forward to 5 more. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. I've had some very very good memories. It's tough to pick one, but to me, some of my favorite memories is our I mean, it's tough, but I like all the debates we get into, whether we agree or disagree on some stuff. But most, but the most important one to me is being able to do it with you, Anthony Florio, with you, Michael Fletcher, and of course when he was with us, Derek Ferreira. And I mean, it was always good to have the band together during our 5 years of Strictly Sports. So yeah, so thank you guys for the ride, and here's the 5 more. So and I do agree. My favorite Strictly Sports memory. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That Strictly Sports when the Boston Bruins won the Eastern Conference final, when they swept the Pittsburgh Penguins to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, that to me is one that will stand out forever. So yeah, so getting back to my shout outs, of course, to the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Woodson, and of course to Kevin Woodson and the rest of the Woodson family. Of course, our other super fans, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh. Of course, all of our friends from our high school days. You guys know who you are. Of course, all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12. And of course, all of our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports 1, or Fox Sports, I should say, NFL Network, MLB Network, NBA TV, NHL Network, and all the other great sports networks out there. And of course, to State of Sorrell and Lindsay McCormick, and of course, our friends from the Road Show, of course, former co-host Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course, the three current ones, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and of course, Michaela Johnson. And one final thing, I just want to say, hopefully all of you will enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, wherever you're going to go, whether it's to a friend's house to watch the game. And of course, the most important thing is to stay safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. Don't be drinking and driving. I mean, we don't want to have anything negative happen. So stay safe out there when you have your Super Bowl parties on Sunday. So that's going to do it for me. So until Monday night for an all-new edition of Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. So with that being said, Michael Fletcher, let's get to you and your shout-outs.
Wow, 5 years, man. How time has gone. First off, Anthony Florio, Mike Bullock, Derek Ferrer. You guys are the greatest friends I've ever had. It's been a joy and an honor to work with you guys for 5 years and to do this. And it's a blessing and an honor. Yes, we've had some fiery debates that has led us to some very explosive moments, especially during power rankings. There's been a few power rankings. Those were the moments I cherish more. Just the debates, how lively we get, and it's been a true honor and amazingness, to say the very least. And then after that, the night that the Bruins won the Eastern Conference title, I mean, that was remarkable. And I can't say nothing more to say about that. I think it's been a joy and an honor, and I'm blessed that I've gotten to work this long with you guys, and on to as many more that we do from here on in. As always, shout outs to all the super fans out there. You guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew, I love you guys to death. My friends in the junior high and high school days, you guys already know who you guys are. And that is it, guys. I'm with Michael Bullock. Just be safe, have fun, enjoy the Super Bowl. More than anything else. And there's really nothing more for me to say. So until then, this is Mike Fletcher. You know the routine, Hustle and Pounds. I'm out. Good night. Anthony, take it home.
All right, we'll do MF, and I echo those feelings of MF there. It's been an honor working with you guys. I mean, from our childhood to our school days, and now this. I mean, the last 5 years, this is what we've been doing just about each and every Friday night. I mean, sometimes we've had to cancel because of, some certain plans that these guys had, work commitments or other things going on. But almost every Friday night for these last 5 years, we've been with you, whether it was a regulation Strictly Sports show or whether it was college football Thursday or NFL Friday or any of our big specials, like I mentioned, our NCAA tournament selection Sunday special, which I know will be coming up when we get to selection Sunday next month, and in a couple of months when we have our NFL, when they release the NFL schedule, we'll be all over that with a fine tooth comb. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been unreal, and we've had so many great memories over these last 5 years here on Strictly Sports. I mean, especially when that night when the Bruins went to the Stanley Cup Finals. I'll never forget it. I mean, me, Derek Ferreira, Michael Bullock, we all did the Feed Me More, a la Ryback. I mean, go on. You got to go to Derek's YouTube channel, Boston Sports Fan 84, to find that epic moment from that night. Of course, another show that I'm proud of was that big special we did a couple years ago when we previewed the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, when we had Jimmy Alden, when Jimmy Alden actually joined our show. I mean, that was a special moment right there, and that was one of our highest rated shows of all time. Or what about last year when we did our Super Bowl 50 recap show, which gave Michael Fletcher, which was the highest rated Strictly Sports show in the history of Strictly Sports, well over 1,000 views. I mean, who knows what it will be when we get to the recap show. I mean, there's no word yet on if we're going to be doing a recap show on Sunday night, but we're gonna be doing a recap one way or another. We don't know if it'll be following the game on Sunday night or if we're gonna just save it for next Friday's Strictly Sports show. We'll have to find that out, and we'll let you know one way or the other. So there's that. Whenever we did a power rankings, I mean, whenever we put a team in a certain spot, these guys didn't like it. I mean, the Wubba Watts and the whole 9 yards, the facial expressions, I mean, just amazing. And these last 5 years have been an absolute thrill for us. I mean, we've wanted to do this since we were little boys, especially me and MF. I mean, since the day MF and I met nearly 23 years ago, I mean, it was our dream to be sportscasters. We wanted to be broadcasters, whether it was in the world of professional sports, professional wrestling, whatever, what have you. We've wanted to do this all our lives, and since the day we met, it's been our dream. But back then, we didn't have the technology to do it. But nowadays, we've got the technology and then some to do it. And these last 5 years have been an absolute thrill, and we look forward to bringing you more special moments in these last 5 years. Of course, that's going to be the great moment right there. The greatest moment of all, when we celebrated the Bruins going to the finals and the Feed Me Mores and all that, me, Bullock, and Derek. I only wish MF was not on the phone at that moment, because I'm sure he would have joined in on us. He would have joined in on it as well. And MF said it, a night to remember, a moment to remember. I'll never forget those words. I haven't forgotten those words. I'm hopeful we'll be saying that following Sunday night in the Super Bowl. Hopefully it will be a night to remember and a moment to remember, regardless of who wins. We're just hoping for a 5-star game with Shakespearean drama. I'm hoping for it. We're praying for it. So we'll see what happens. But the most emotionally charged moment on this show, it wasn't even a Strictly Sports show. It took the place of a Strictly Sports show. You remember, it was that Friday night when we did that special about the Boston Marathon, and the night that those Hammenegers got caught, when they were brought to justice on that Friday night. We did that special newscast, if you will. And it was not only the first real rant I ever went on, it was maybe the biggest rant I ever went on. And that's really when this show really took off, right then and there. And I stood by what I said then, and I still stand by it now. So that's all I can say on that. But those were the moments that stood out to me. The Bruins celebration, the Mayweather-Pacquiao show when Jimmy Alden joined us, and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And these last 5 years, working with MF and working with Bullock and Derek Ferrera when he was with us. I mean, I'm just simply grateful and blessed that we've gotten to do this these last 5 years. And here's to not only 5 more years, but here's to many more years. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all so very much for tuning in all this time. We really appreciate it. Honest to goodness. So, all right. Of course, shout outs here. Of course, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. I don't have to rehash that. You already know that by now. First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson and her family. Special shout out to them. Matt Ward, Jason Hixenbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, the First Lady of Strictly Sports. I mean, I'll never forget those Strictly Sports shows when Kaiser Butler actually was on the panel talking some NBA right around spring 2012. I mean, 3 to 4 months into our Strictly Sports run. I'll never forget when Kaiser Butler was working with us. I mean, that was an absolute honor. And I'm hopeful that she'll join us again in the near future. And our other First Ladies, Megan Silva and Lexi Calloway. And our friends from our school days, Tommy Souza, Eric Harrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons. And of course, the man himself, the man who put all of this together, the one and only Derek Ferrera. Without him, none of this would be possible. And all of us here are grateful to him and his team for putting all of this together. And if it wasn't for that, we never would have been doing this on our Friday nights for the last 5 years. We would have been doing something else. But Derek Ferrera is the one who deserves the most credit. So, because if it wasn't for his vision, we never would have been doing this. So to Derek Ferrera, a special heartfelt thank you, brother. We appreciate you, man. Simple as that. And to all of our other shout outs, you know, all of our television personalities, Channel 6, 10, and 12. Great job on the Super Bowl coverage all week long. And ESPN, Fox Sports 1, NFL Network, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, the whole 9 yards. State of Sorrell, Lindsey McCormick, all of our other personalities on that end. Our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Michaela Johnson, Brendan Kirby, and of course, former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And of course, last but certainly not least, my special shout out, of course, my church family at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street. I know on Sunday morning it's going to be up in arms. I mean, because damn near every single one of them are Patriot fans, and I know they're going to be riled up, and they're going to have Super Bowl fever, and quite frankly, I cannot wait to be there Sunday morning. Our beloved Pastor Lucille makes her return after a while out. She's going to be back. Can't wait to see her. It's going to be such a blessing, and I cannot wait for Sunday morning, and because it's going to be up in arms, mainly because of that Patriot Super Bowl fever. I'm sure of it. So to all of you over there, grateful for all of you. Love you guys. You all know that. And I know Sunday it's going to be a very blessed service as always. And you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. service. Bible study Wednesday nights at 7. And some other things. February 12th, there's going to be a special fellowship luncheon following service on February 12th. Mark that on your calendars. Come hang with us after service. Get a little grub. And just enjoy each other's company. It's why we call it fellowship, friends. So that's it. So until we'll next be with you Monday night. As of now, it's Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. We'll run down Monday Night Raw. I'll give you my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. Tuesday night at either 10 or 10:30 over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. We got Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review SmackDown Live. And MF will have his Mikey's Mindset, ROH, RWA, some other things. And then next Friday night, yet another edition of Strictly Sports. I have no idea what's on the docket, but I know Derek and his team will have the docket ready for us come Sunday or Monday, depending on that. And that's pretty much it. So that's all for this. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. I cannot stress that enough. And there it is, one final time. You see it right there. Sunday night. It's all about what's in the middle. The Vince Lombardi Trophy. Either the New England Patriots will get one for the thumb for their 5th, or the Atlanta Falcons will win their first ever and only the 2nd major championship for the city of Atlanta to go with the Braves' 95 World Series win. We cannot wait for it. We're going to have a recap one way or another. We don't know if it will be immediately following the game or if it will be on our show next Friday night. But one thing's for sure, we will have a recap. Trust us. So until the next time we see you, Anthony Florio here for MF and Bullock and Derek, and for all of the wonderful men and women who put this all together each and every week. We thank you all so very much for tuning in. It's a bye for now. It's a God bless. It's a be good to each other. And for now, as we leave you, it's all about this right here. That's what it's all about. Sunday night, that is the main event. It's what the words main event were meant for, because that is right there. That is the main event. It don't get no bigger. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, Anthony Florio. So long.